Michigan Replay with Bo Schembechler and Jim Brandstatter is brought to you by the General Motors Corporation, by General Motors Parts, by GenCorp, and by Budweiser.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Michigan Replay, and what a replay this will be. Michigan 24, Notre Dame 23, and maybe the most exciting opener you've ever had.
Well, yes, it was.
You probably wouldn't like them that exciting.
No, I really don't, but it was an exciting game. It was a fan's game. Certainly wasn't a coach's game.
When you say it wasn't a coach's game, why? Just because it was so close, you'd like to be
well,
out there?
coaches' games are a little more defensive and less mistakes. And so I would say that was a spectator game, not necessarily a coach's game.
When you went into the game, Notre Dame was somewhat of an unknown. I guess they're now a real known, aren't they?
Well, I think Notre Dame is going to be one of the top teams in the country this year. And, of course, it was a little more difficult for us, Jim, because we didn't know what to expect. And they did a great job in offensive preparation, gave us a lot of things we hadn't seen before, made it difficult for our defense.
Your first drive was good. You got the ball down there, but you missed a field goal attempt.
Right.
And then you got to look at what you were going to see a lot of during the day, and that was the Notre Dame offense.
That's
they
right.
really offensively did a good job for you.
Well, actually, that's true. See, we drove to the 24 and missed a field goal, and then they came right back and threw a pass here to Miller for a first down. And if you'll notice in the highlights, they're in a lot of different formations from time to time. Here they run the shovel pass, and we miss a tackle, and breaks out for a first down.
Now, this is what made it difficult for you because they ran all different formations, wishbone, eye.
Here they are in the wishbone. That's right, Jim. They ran a lot of different things. Here's the option play, and we don't play it very well. And they do a good job of blocking on it, get down in very close.
You knew Lou Holtz was going to do some different things, but did you think he was going to do this many?
We pretty much could anticipate the formations, but not necessarily what type of plays they'd run from. For example, this is a power sweep for a touchdown. We didn't anticipate the power sweep from the wishbone.
And that Brown's an awful good player. He was all over the field.
Well, he's a great talent. He was a year ago and playing that way again. They tried to jump up on us, Jim, and we went to a big pass here on a 2nd and 5 and got a post cut to John Colasar. Here, Gerald White really explodes here off tackle for first down, and we took the next kickoff and moved it 80 yards.
It was an offensive first half. The defenses really didn't stop anybody.
No, that's exactly right. Here's a naked bootleg and a pass to Jeff Brown, our sophomore tight end at the 10-yard line. So we are on the move here now. This is a counter play. Great block by Jeff Brown, the tight end, who wiped out that side of the line, allowed Jamie to break it to the outside for a touchdown.
At that point, 7-7 football game, and you at this point got to be thinking, wait a minute, this Lou Holtz is talking a different game before the season.
Well, I was waiting for our defense to get pulled together, and we never really did during the course of the game. Here they're driving again down to the 1-yard line, and eventually go in here to score, diving over the top.
And again, a different formation, the eye down there. They used the wishbone down short yardage.
They used eye, split backs, wishbone. They used them all. Here's a reverse, Jamie Morris to John Colasar for a first down. And it's an offensive show, Jim. There's no question about that.
Were you pleased with the offensive performance?
Well, in some ways, yes. In some ways, not. I'd like to have controlled the line of scrimmage a little better, run a little better. But we did move the ball. We made the plays. And Jim, of course, made some great plays. Here
he is one of the best scrambling around and finding receivers on the run.
Right. He does do a good job of that. Here he hits Johnny Colasar, and John gets down inside the 20-yard line, and we're on the move here.
Got to feel good about the offense being able to answer Notre Dame.
Here's the problem. 3rd and goal. We ran an off-tackle play. It appeared like we didn't get anybody blocked, and they got us stopped. Went to the field goal to narrow the gap to 14-10 at halftime.
14-10 at halftime, and you're walking off the field. What's going through the mind of Bo Schembechler at that point?
Well, I felt we'd get some more points. I had hoped that our defense would tighten up a little bit more in the second half, and unfortunately, we didn't do a good job at any time during the game containing the Notre Dame attack.
Was there any real major concern that things you might not be able to handle after what you'd seen in the first half?
Well, it wasn't exactly that. It's just that our defense just had trouble with all the multiple formations and what they were doing from. They did a great job in offensive planning. Our defense didn't play well, now let's face it. But by the same token, you got to give Notre Dame some credit. They did a great job offensively. Well,
coming up, the second half and the field goal that wasn't when Michigan Replay returns.
After you score at 24 points, I think we needed another drive, another long time-consuming drive to put them out of it. We really didn't do that. It's just one of those things. But for a first game, I think the offense played pretty well.
The Wolverines were trailing Notre Dame 14-10 at halftime. It was an offensive show. As a matter of fact, I think you said something after the game that if the Notre Dame punter played Michigan all the time, he'd never let her.
Well, that's true. He didn't punt at all.
What kind of adjustments, if you did it make any at halftime to combat that multiple set?
It appeared when the second half started we had all the right things going for us because we knocked out an 80-yard drive for a touchdown to take the lead.
I was going to say, when you got the ball in the second half, it looked like the offense was back in high gear.
Yeah, well, we moved the ball. There's no question about it in the second half. Here we are in the third period. Jim comes out on a bootleg play here and throws down here to Paul Jokic for a big gain. And our offense is moving the ball very well in this first drive after the half.
And Lou Holtz declined to take the football at the opening of the game.
Right, we had it both at the beginning of the game. I don't know why he did that, but it certainly was in our favor.
Big surprise to you, wasn't it?
Right, it really was. Here Jim scrambles and throws the ball to Gerald White, who gets us a first down inside the 20. Here's a key 3rd and 7, and Jim goes to Pinky Higgins at the 5-yard line for a first down. In the wishbone, 3rd and goal, on the 1-yard line, Jim runs the option, pitches the ball to Jamie Morris, who outruns their outside linebacker.
And the wishbone was your surprise.
Well, we both, we anticipated they'd use wishbone because Holtz had used it at Minnesota. But we used some of it ourselves today. Here we kicked the ball off and they failed to cover it. And Doug Mowry went down and covered it for us. It's one of those kicked into the wind, and the wind held that ball up. And no one got under it, and we got down there and recovered it. First play, we go to a throwback pass here, and he hits Jamie Morris in the end zone for a touchdown.
Big play there. That gave you a 10-point lead, and at this point you got to feel like, okay, now we got something cooking.
We had something cooking. If our defense could have, you know, really come to the fore now. But unfortunately, the Notre Dame offense kept in high gear, and they kept pressure on us all afternoon.
And they mixed it up a lot. I mean, here's another power sweep just before they let the delay to the tight end.
Right. And they did a great job. There isn't any question about it. Here they're down to the goal line again. We blitzed the linebacker, and they threw the buck pass. They threw the fullback into the line and dumped it over to the tight end for a touchdown.
So they were guessing right pretty much. Here
was a very key play, Jim. They missed the extra point.
Yeah.
And it made it 24-20. We didn't move. They came back and got the football. Our kicking game was not good. We punted short, and they had field position after all of our punts, and came out with a screen pass on the first down.
Even though the defense didn't play well, the defense still came up with big plays to stop them.
This is one, the fumble here. Will give us the ball. He drops the football here. Doug Mowry falls on it for us, and that was a very, very big play.
But Notre Dame's offense continues to roll. At this point,
we failed to move again after getting the football. Now that hurt. There were 2 times in the second half we didn't move at all. They get the big play over the middle to Brown. He's got great mobility and quickness, and he gets out and makes a very big play out of it.
Steve Berline, their quarterback, had a great day. They just played well all the way around.
I don't think anybody offensively had a bad day, probably on either team. Yeah. Both teams moved the football extremely well. But Notre Dame is on the move here again. They're down in there close, 3rd and 6. Surprising play. They went for the alley-oop pass, and Dave Arnold went back and intercepted it for us in the end zone.
And a big play by your defense again, keeping them off the board. So, in a way, you know, you didn't play that well, but you still got things done when you had to.
Here's 6:40 left in the game, and they hit the screen again. They did not screen the first half and screened the second half. And, you know, it's one of those things where if you haven't talked about it at the halftime, nobody's looking for it.
Do you think they saved anything for you? They used about everything I think they could.
Everything they could, you're right. Here's a reverse to Brown again, and he picks up yardage down to the 20-yard line. Back into the wishbone with two tight ends. Bootleg pass. He throws down here to the tight end and catches the ball, and fortunately came down with his feet right on the line. And right there. And you can see he's out of the end zone, and so it's no score.
The official was right there on it.
I don't think Lou agrees with him, but that's the way it was. So they had to go for the field goal and kick the field goal to make it 24-23. Now we take the football, 3rd and 6, throws out here to Johnny Colasar for a big play that gives us a first down. Should have been able to run out the clock without any problem. With 1:39, run the simplest play in football, and that's why this game is never over until it's over. And we fumble the ball, and they recover.
And you got to be thinking, oh, no, not again.
Well, you know, they come right back and get a big play over the middle here, and they're down to our 40 already. They need only a field goal to win the game now, Jim. And so with 41 seconds left, they're in a single back formation here and run the shovel. They get 6 yards on it, which isn't enough. And now they have to go to the field goal. The snap from center was good. The ball got down good. He just shanked the ball. Of course, it had been a long field goal. It had been a 47-yarder, I think. And that was it.
And now it's time for the Budweiser play of the game.
3rd and 6 with less than 2 minutes left. They're in a tight man-to-man coming after Jim, and he throws the streak pass. Colasar makes the catch. That's the biggest play of the game right there, Jim, because although we fumbled the next play, it gave us field position and made it too long for him to go for the touchdown, kicked the field goal and missed it.
Carney misses the field goal at the end of the game to lose it for Notre Dame, but you've been in that position on the other side. I mean, how many of you lost in the last second field goal? I remember Iowa last year, a couple Notre Dame games prior to that.
Take South Bend, Indiana in 1980 when they had an interference call that gave them a big play.
A questionable interference call.
Yeah, stopped the clock by catching the ball out of bounds, and then the guy kicks it 51 yards into the wind to beat us. So maybe this was poetic justice.
You've, you know, a win is a win, and they're always important, and it's always good.
Jim gives us an opportunity to coach all of the things we did poorly in this game a lot easier with a victory than it is with a defeat. So from that standpoint, it was a great win for Michigan. Let's don't underestimate the fact. We're playing in a hostile stadium. We're playing with a new coach. We're playing with great enthusiasm. Everything was in Notre Dame's favor, and yet no matter how you add it up, we still came out with a 1-point victory. So from my standpoint and that of the Michigan team, we're very thankful.
What was the reaction of the kids? Did they realize that, hey, we played poorly, but we won, we got some work to do?
Well, I think they felt that way, but you know, everything in that ball game was in Notre Dame's favor, and yet when the game was over, Michigan won. And that's the bottom line. Let's don't forget that.
Well, it took a long way, but Bill Harris is back at Michigan. Stay with us. We'll have his story when Michigan Replay returns.